Hello everyone, welcome to Frost Vital's 2023's final run of the day. We have the wonderful Katie4 and CoEmpathy, who I will be referring to as Lexi throughout the run. My name is Stellar, and these are some absolutely wonderful players that we have in front of us, and I'm very excited for the race. Katie, any thoughts before the race starts?
My name is Katie4, I'm cool, and I am excited for this race.
Wonderful. And Lexi, how about yourself?
Hi, I'm CoEmpathy, or Lexi, and I'm just here to have a great time, play the game, you know? It's gonna be fun.
Heck yeah. All right, so I believe that's all from us if we are good to go on the production side of things. All right, perfect. All right. I will count you both down on go. Starting from 3. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck, both of you. Okay, so starting off, City Escape is the first stage in the game, the most iconic, the one with the snowboard. No other Sonic game has ever had a snowboard stage, I think. Anyway, you start off in a boarding section for about 20 seconds. It's kind of just like a brief introduction to the fact that you're going to be going fast. And as soon as they're off the board, you will see how fast they go. There is a skip in the middle of the level that will be used to skip most of the rest of it. And you will really see the display of the speed tech available. There are homing attacks, there are spin dashes, there are grind rails, and of course, there are lots of different little nuances that can be used to increase or decrease your speed. However, we don't find much use in decreasing our speed. Although, okay, so City Escape skip is a very difficult skip. This is the trick that you're seeing both of them attempt. You have to maintain a lot of speed while avoiding getting affected by the speed pads in front of the ramp. Katie is out of bounds, and Lexi is too, and we have a race. So, City Escape skip is a lot of clipping out of bounds. I'm pretty sure they actually put those speed pads in front of the boost pad to stop you from doing it. Don't do it anyway. Shh. Don't say it. So, we have a bit of a rail section leading into truck section. City Escape has got to be the speedrun stage with the least actual regular Sonic movement, but I'm sure you can get the fundamentals just by watching what they're up to. After this stage, we're going to be coming into our first boss, that is Bigfoot. Katie showing off the absolutely crazy moonwalk at the end of the stage, which is not just for style, it is in fact faster. 132 from Katie, 139 from Lexi, and that about sums it up. It did take Lexi one extra attempt to get City Escape skip, but it's a very temperamental skip. The entire time loss is basically from that. And as you might have noticed, if you are an SA2 veteran, there were no cutscene between the first level and the first boss showing the emblem. That is because the runners are using emblem skip glitch. This is used to cut down on unnecessary time during the run. It is completely doable within the game and completely legal as well. Bigfoot's a pretty simple boss. You basically just hit him as soon as his invincibility frames run out, and that's a frame perfect Bigfoot from Katie. No big deal, just casually as fast as it can be done, and less than a tenth slower from Lexi. Very, very good runs to this point. Wild Canyon is the first Knuckles stage of the game. You are going to be looking around for these tiny green shards of the Master Emerald, and there are televisions that give hints, along with a radar to tell you where to go. Most speedrunners of this game are proficient enough to know basically every hint in the game just by reading what the first words are and reading the radar from there. And following that, there are some checks you can do in order to pick up some emerald pieces out of order, which is good because this game does not have a radar-free system. You do not get to see all of the pings of the different pieces at the same time. And also something that's very relevant about Knuckles stages is they have a lot of swing to them. You can see that Lexi was able to basically completely erase the gap and then some just by getting different pieces and or having a little bit better of a free piece check. Eggman 1 is a nothing boss. you point your gun towards him and you press the attack button. And eventually for the last hit, you have to walk into him. But wow, he's so much harder when you think you have to move around to hit him. So going into Prison Lane is the first proper Tails stage where you can get your own understanding of the mechanics. Tails is in a mech, and you have to shoot enemies in order to open doors. And because Tails loses a lot of speed while turning, you will see the runners jump around in order to not have to turn. They can turn in midair instead of on the ground, and it will work to great benefit to see them keep that speed more. The more speed you can keep, the faster your time will be. And there are some little skips here and there, like Lexi jumping on those fences in order to, get up them and not have to wait for them. Katie doing the same thing. Very, very close race so far as we go into the first elevator. So chat, how are we feeling? Yeah, Lexi coming up to the end of the elevator, gets the early lock on through the floor. I bet a lot of people didn't know you can do that, but that's another thing that's going to be relevant for a lot of the game, is shooting around where the game thinks you should or should not be allowed to shoot. It's the most relevant in this stage, but there are other instances where it will come up as well. Again, as you can see, jumping around corners, especially in this section because of how many there are in short succession. Shooting through the wall because you want to be able to defeat some enemies faster, all of that good stuff. And we are coming up to the end of the first Tails stage, and we have now seen all three different gameplay styles. And there we go.
I did it!
Coming up next is Metal Harbor. Metal Harbor is probably the first stage where you really see what Sonic's up to. In terms of the way that his mechanics affect the way that runners go through the levels. There's a lot of, spin dashes right off the start. There's even a little bit of like a skewed gravity thing, exploitation of the fact that most floors in this game are only one way, so you can enter them from underneath, as you just saw there. And yeah, so right now is where the runners are going to pick up the light shoes power up in order to be able to do a light dash. This lets you move through lines of rings very, very quickly, and will be used many times throughout the run in order to make use of carefully placed lines of rings for extra speed. Katie going for a trick known as Loop Easy, and she does get it, able to use the loop speed in order to temporarily stand on the ground and use the rest of the momentum to jump up and also make it back on the top of the thing before both runners do a trick known as pulley skip to skip having to grab that pulley. Both runners go for missile skip now, and of course they both get it with identical 13:03 missile times. Really says a lot about how balanced this race is and how balanced it's going to be. Coming up, we have the final instance of snowboarding in the speed run as we both come through this little post-rocket snowboard tunnel before we get ready for the very famous Faker cutscene. And yeah, wow, these runners are so close together. It's a great race so far.
Do we have some time for donations?
Of course.
Okay, we have Sevak with $25 saying, wow, two of the best runners to ever do it. Good luck on the funny. Please do the funny toaster. The entire SA2 community is rooting for you both. I'm not sure what the funny toaster means.
Katie will be doing the funny toaster. Don't you worry, I'll bring it up when it's relevant.
Okay, that's good to know. And I would like to point it out, I was talking about prizes earlier. That Sonic Frontier spec, you could get, by donating $25, you are eligible to maybe win that. So consider making a donation if you'd like that, because I know I do.
Is there a whole PS5 in that bundle, by the way? Did I read that right?
I think that's a different bundle. Okay. We do have a bundle that I think has a PS5, but not this one. I could be wrong, though I'm gonna check for you.
Thank you very much.
back here right now before the island blows up with
Green Forest is another stage cut from the same cloth as Metal Harbor. There are a lot of little skips as opposed to giant ones, although there is a notable giant one in the middle of the stage that keep your eyes peeled for. It's pretty hard to miss when you're looking for it. So we go through the beginning of the stage, spin dashing down the tree to keep as much speed as possible. And there's a lot of speed conservation at play here from both runners in order to make sure that you are really going through the stage as fast as possible. Spin dashing into rails in order to... Oh! Okay, air Yeezy from Lexi. So we have a Yeezy apiece, a Yeezy a peasy. As both runners line up for first loop skip in order to dive right into that little pit. Both of them avoiding the bad camera and both getting mini run. Hello? Oh my goodness, what a race. So we are coming up to the major skip of the stage, Green Forest Wall Run. It is a wall, but it's a wall that's made out of tree. And we run up it using the skewed gravity that we get from this loop right here in order to convince the game that we are at an angle. And look at Lexi as she runs up the entire tree. Spin dash is off. Oh my goodness. And she recovers it. Moonshot can be a little bit finicky with when it decides that it wants to let you off of the tree, but she was able to keep her wits about her, find a backup, and make it through successfully. Katie now running up the tree as well, having a little bit of difficulty. It is a temperamental skip and showing off a different but faster and very, very cool dismount from the tree. Both runners with excellent execution. Unfortunate about the temperament of the skip, but in a game as volatile as SA2, that is how it goes.
Real quick, Stellar, I have confirmation here. The bundle I was talking about, it comes with a PS5 copy of Sonic Frontiers, one Sonic Frontiers Steelbook, one large fleece pullover with Sonic Frontiers logo, one map of Chronos Island, which is the in-game island, plus one UV light for hidden secrets on the map, plus one Cocoa Succulent plant, plus one destination poster from Chronos Island, one Sonic gaming mat from Razer as well. So not a PS5, but it's so much stuff.
I mean, there's not a PS5 included in that, but there might as well be for how many other things are in there. That's quite a bundle.
Right? And it's $25 to get entered. Like,
that's some value. I know there's a lot of crossover between the SA2 and Frontiers communities. If you're a Frontiers enjoyer, I would highly recommend getting in on that.
Yeah. And also, real quick, we also have another prize that has a PS5. That's the 125 cumulative one. You could get a PS5 and a Nintendo Switch plus games with 125 cumulative dollars. So there's that one too.
Wow, some really great bundle. The prize team really showing up for Frost Vitals. Oh my goodness.
Right? And like I think I've said that before, but that Sonic Frontiers prize pack was provided by Sega, literally.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Right? I love that they care.
Yeah, I love it too.
So Mission Street is a cycle-based stage. This is also a very notable stage for the speedrun because it's where you get the hover ability, the booster upgrade. This allows the runners to hover for a short amount of time in order to, in order to make it across gaps that Tails cannot cross by jumping alone. There's also a mechanic that you will see from both runners many times called a pause hover jump, or a pause hover, or an appa jump. There are many names for it. However, the important thing about it is that you pause in order to interrupt the amount of time the game reads between a jump and a hover, and the less frames between those two A presses, the more height you can get. And the devs did not intend for you to get as much height as you can get from pause hovering, so we can do stuff like jumping over the grate, or you can jump over or jump onto that fence as a platform to do it anyway, if you're just that cool, apparently.
I'm so cool.
You're so cool. Mission Street is a notable stage in the speedrun as well because it is very, very cycle dependent. The cycle that you need to hit is right here. Lexi hits it very comfortably. Katie looks like she is, going to be hitting it very comfortably as well. A lot of the total time is measured in being able to grab onto that cycle. However, if you saw at the beginning, Lexi was standing in that upgrade for a very long time. And that wasn't just because she was thinking very hard. That was in order to affect the displayed time at the end of the stage, which is not incredibly relevant for the runs anymore. However, it is a crazy flex, as any time even close to 2 minutes flat is very, very good, with most runners aiming for a time probably close to about 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Yeah, 2:01, just unbelievable. And yeah, Katie able to get a 2:07. There was a nice milliseconds as well. But she unfortunately had a little bit of trouble with another part. Again, the game is very temperamental. Sometimes it just decides you're not pushing buttons anymore. That is how she goes. Oh, Aquatic Mine. Aquatic Mine is a very interesting stage because in the beginning cutscene, there is an actual opportunity to see many pieces that your radar will not pick up on for the first little bit. At the beginning of the stage, they like to go into this top room in order to check to see if there are any pieces hanging around, because sometimes there are a lot of pieces up there. And again, the radar only shows the piece that it believes you to be on. So any pieces you can collect out of order are a huge, huge advantage, especially in a race setting. There's also uses of sign clips in order to get out of bounds, especially into the ghost room, because it is a bit cumbersome to get in and out of there. There's also this clip to get out of the ghost room that you can see both runners performing. The camera's not very kind afterwards, but you can certainly do it. As the two of them both get ready to get their final piece.
I found him.
Absolutely wonderful race so far. Katie getting a much faster time on the actual in-game displayed timer, but because it took her so long to get a takeable set, these runners are still basically dead even. Route 101 is the most execution stage in the game. And by that I mean you are literally always inputting, and not that much more. Yeah, this is a car stage. You hold A to go. After you see the first hill, the runners are going to start drifting. I hope you like the tire screech sound effect because it happens the entire time. And basically, there is a cool gimmick to the stage in which you kind of just try to make sure that you're at boost speed the entire time. You accelerate whenever you have to go up a hill because the acceleration in drift mode is quite bad. But it uncaps your speed to what is normally far above what a regular driving speed can be. So there is a cool aspect to it. It's just a bit monotonous, especially because it's 2 minutes long and not very involved unless you're going for like a 212. All of that to say, if there are any donations and or messages that you would like to read out from the GDQ team, now would be a great time to do so.
Oh yes, there are. I have a donation from Metal Matt B, $50, saying, "Here's the swear jar money from Shadow, and maybe some bonus. Thanks for having us. Loving the SA2 race." Which yeah, Metal Matt B just ran Shadow the Hedgehog, so that was a whole lot of swearing from Shadow. And I just wanted to remind everyone that Frost Fatals is presented by Frame Fatals, an all-women community for those who are interested in speedrunning, charity events, and gaming. If you would like to support Frame Fatals, you can follow us on Twitter at Frame Fatals and tell people about this event. To learn more, type !FF in the chat. Also, I just looked over to my other screen, and we are so close to meeting the Pet the Dog incentive in Okami. We are at 1,110 out of 1,500, which is just wild to me because that's literally tomorrow, and we're probably gonna meet this incentive tonight. So thanks everyone for all your donations. I think everyone really wants to pet the dog.
It's a good thing to do. Every dog deserves to be pet, and I'm glad that we can help the Okami people get their dog pet just a little bit more.
Yeah,
also,
for sure, I agree.
Also, of course, big shout outs to the Shadow community and the general Sonic community at large. There have been a lot of efforts made in recent years to try and really unify the communities, and I'm glad that we're able to come out and show our support to events like that. Hidden Base is the most technically involved tail stage featuring booster. Prison Lane is the other argument, but that one doesn't have booster in it, so we're taking there are a lot of... Oh, okay. So this skip that you see Lexi and Katie going for right now is a skip in which you go out of bounds in order to not do a lot of the platforming at the beginning. There are a lot of doors that you need to get through and a lot of movement that you have to do as well. The doors also have invincibility frames, which makes it so that you can't just spam shoot them very fast. You are on a little bit of a timer. Unfortunately, it is very, very difficult to get the skip, but I mean, Lexi got the IL version. Evidently, this is a race between two gamers. So yeah, also because when you are shooting a door, you cannot really move. Most doors you come at them from very odd angles, so you'll see runners standing or jumping rather in front of them in order to make sure that they do not lose too much speed, as you lose significantly less speed in the air when not moving as you would from being on the ground and not moving. There are also a lot of pulley shenanigans in this stage, using their momentum in order to not have to deal with them for as long, because when they pull you up and you jump, then you go a little bit higher. Again, there's some more out-of-bounds shenaniganery, as you do not have to shoot any of those doors or deal with that tough platforming section. You can simply unsubscribe from the game's regular collision and just do whatever you'd like to do. Pyramid Cave is the stage that's coming up next, and I'm starting to explain it now because it is probably one of the most involved stages in the entire game. There are mechanics in the stage that will not come up again, and there are mechanics in the stage that will come up for the entire rest of the run. The first mechanic are these tunnels. These tunnels are absolute heck on wheels for most speedrunners because they are very temperamental, and you really need to make the most out of every single speed gain and lack of speed loss, directions and that kind of thing, just in order to really make sure that you are holding on as well as possible. And oh my goodness, okay, so normally what most runners do is they go down and do something called chow box hover, but Katie did an IL strat there where she jumped on the side banister and spin dash jumped over there. And you'll notice that she climbed up from that. Even that is a crazy successful outcome because that strat is so hard. It's very difficult to get enough height to do that. Then you see both runners going for a first door skip where they jump over a wall, and then second door skip where they jump through a wall. Normally these require keys to do. However, we do not particularly care to look for and place keys. A lot of it is slow and we can just skip them. Coming out of second tunnel, we are coming into the snake skip. As you can see, there are a bunch of snakes in here that have nice little curvatures to them. We can use that in order to go through the rest of the stage by getting skewed gravity. And oh my goodness, Katie did hex skip. Unbelievable. Hex skip is a permutation of snake skip that is more difficult and does a little bit more than snake skip does at the cost of being significantly harder to execute. Very, very difficult skip and a very good time from her because of it. A 122. Very good. Unfortunately, there was, again, like most skips in this game, snake skip can be quite temperamental, hex skip as well. So we are going to be having a bit of difficulty, but we'll get there as well. Katie entering Death Chamber, getting a piece in the green room. You do not want a piece in the green room. She decided to collect the upgrade and get out of there because with the upgrade, you have more opportunities afforded to you. This stage, as per its namesake, Death Chamber, will involve a good amount of death strats depending on the sets that you can see. Yes! However, with a piece 2 in the red room, Katie does not have very much incentive to do that. Tilted Picture is right there, and she will be collecting it without too very much issue. And then, unlike in piece 1, having a piece 3 in the green room is much more doable. And again, yeah, Lexi getting a piece 1 in green room. You do not want to take a piece 1 in green room. And she just got 3 green room piece 1s in a row. That's very rough. There we go. A blue room piece. Woo! Finally. Yeah. So getting into King Boom Boo, there is a strategy that was actually found by a old runner on VAR who was watching a casual player's stream and thought, oh my goodness, that's a lot of momentum they just got from getting hit by the fire. Let's see if I can get hit by the fire and not have to deal with most of this boss. And there you have it. Congratulations on Cat Boost, named after a friendly, better Twitch TV and Frank Your Face Z and all of that kind of emote known as Cat Boo. Very common in the SA2 community around that time. I would like for it to become as common again, but in its absence, we still have Cat Boost, very thankfully.
I just got a call from Sega. King Boom Boo has now been renamed to the Dr. Pepper Monster.
Thank you. Katie messaging in live during her run, getting a call from Sega about the Dr. Pepper Monster. Let's see if the Egg Golem would be a Dr. Pepper Monster for her as well. So as you can tell by the very large jumps and based on a trick that I forgot to explain, there are super bounces, which are like bounces, except you hit a wall in the middle of your bounce, and the game thinks, oh, okay, let's convert all your forward momentum into upward momentum, and sends you very high up. This was used to skip the first door and for a couple of other instances, and Katie just used it in order to beat the Egg Golem. Thankfully for her, it was not a Dr. Pepper Monster today. Lexi finishing up her own one-cycle King Boom Boo, very well done. As Katie loads into Eternal Engine, a stage in space. A stage in space where you will see space, and you will see it for a long time. Yeah, so this stage used to have a lot more going on, and then we found a wonderful skip called Both. And you might think, what's Both? And it's a skip where you break both of the boxes. You clip out of bounds, and it is much easier to do on the second load than the first load. First load Bofa, affectionately referred to as Quan. However, the second try Bofa is very appreciated as well. Katie now out of bounds and going through the stage as Lexi finishes up a very nice Egg Golem of her own.
Do we have time for a few donations?
Yes, we do.
Nice. We have Ali with $25 saying, the lovely ladies of the SA2 community, I can't believe we're being blessed with the best runners and the best commentator. Love you all, and I can't wait for Christmas in July. Less than 3.
Love you, Ali.
We also have $5 from Nikkei Cool Money saying, shoutouts to the 3 epic gamers Lexi, Katie, and Stellar on this run. 3 good friends of mine and 3 awesome voices and players for this game. I'll donate 5 more if any runner can show off E10.
Thank you, Mikey. E10 is not a real skip. You're supposed to ask what E10, and then it's E10 as a funny Bofa-style joke, if you're aware of the original punchline. Lexi using her own Bofa to clip out of bounds.
Next time.
I will go to the bank of E10 just for you, Mikey, okay? I got you. I got you.
Thank goodness. Katie entering into Meteor Herd, the last Knuckle stage of the game. I forgot to mention it, but Eternal Engine is the last Tail stage of the game. In the floating containers as a piece 1 is not very far from where you spawn, and a lot of this stage is taking rockets to get to your location. There are more hint monitors in this version than there are in other versions of the game, thankfully, so Katie didn't have to go very far in order to see that second hint, although she will have to go rather far to get this second piece. Black Boxes on the black platform is quite far away, and if she wants to maintain this lead, she's going to hope for a piece 3 that is not very far away. She goes over to jump from a star to see if she can get it, as it is a very common piece, checks for between the rotating beacons just to make sure, and does get the close jump from a star, which tricked her a little bit on the radar read, but she was able to get it with a rather solid 44-second time.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Ballins. Shoutouts to WoW.
Shoutouts to WoW.
Long time no
After Meteor Herd is the Rouge fight, which is basically just done by flying over to Rouge and drill driving on top of her multiple times. There's not really much more to it than that. If it takes more than 20 seconds, the floor opens up and you lose significantly more than 20 seconds. So we're going to hope we don't see that as we see what set Lexi is able to get. Her second piece is on the bottom, which is a little bit scary. With Katie, you saw that her second piece was up top, so she had the luxury to go back down to the middle and hopefully not get too owned by it. Although, unfortunately, because Lexi's third piece is also jump from a star, you will see the true difference between middle, top, middle, and middle, bottom, middle. Katie loads into Crazy Gadget to do her CGSS, hopefully. When we talk about skips being temperamental, CGSS is most certainly one of them. It's probably the poster child for temperamental skips within SA2 because it was by far the meanest and most rude out of the skips in the game for a very long time. Basically, what you have to do is you have to avoid a kill plane that the game put right at the bottom of this room to prevent you from falling away and dying forever. And then you have to avoid a second kill plane at the edges of the room that prevents you from leaving the room. These were both set up to prevent infinite falling from happen. However, you can avoid them by doing a skip, and you can avoid them in order to fall forever. You have both options available to you. Katie doing the bad cam version of the strat. There is a free cam version where you can see where you're going, and that is why that method is typically preferred. Unfortunately, bad cam does have the ability to do that if you are not very, very sure of what you're going to do. Katie setting up for free cam this time as she makes it out of bounds, and you can actually see just between those two crazy gadgets how different bad cam versus free cam looks. And because she's able to see where she's going, she's able to aim and finishes with a solid 45-second crazy gadget time. Lexi entering the tube and getting ready for her own crazy gadget. As we will see if bad cam treats her nicely, because as far as I can tell, she has never even thought about doing free cam. Katie loads into Eggman 2, a boss that is notorious for being very, very difficult if you do not have the strategy down. And she does an interesting thing where she apparently uses Eggman's punch to put some distance between them, which is good because Tails' punch does not do very much damage. Also using a smart strat to take some damage from an Eggman individual cannon shot in order to prevent taking damage from the very large space laser, and getting a very respectable sub 19 time as Lexi finishes out her crazy gadget. So earlier in the run, there was a donation talking about the funny toaster. And as we have loaded into Final Rush, it is time to try it. There is a pretty notorious skip in this game, Final Rush skip, which you can use in order to move around some kill planes and go to the end of the stage. However, there was an old version of Final Rush skip afterwards named Fast FR, which pierces a kill plane. The Funny Toaster, or OBT, goes around these kill planes that Fast FR used to try to go directly through, and unfortunately those kill planes are very mean. And that is unfortunately going to be a game over for Katie as both runners now load into Final Rush. I appreciate the toaster attempt, but however, it is really time for this run to come down to it. Both runners doing their slightly different opening movement on the rails of Final Rush to see who can come out on top. Katie going for OBT again, and Lexi going for her version of FR skip that does not touch the camera triggers. I've seen it many, many times, and I still have no idea how it works, and am very fearful of it. However, the fact that she's not dead yet is a good sign. She readjusts for free fall, and is going to realign with the circles on the earth in order to make sure that she is lined up in the correct spot. Katie doing the same thing after successfully getting OBT. Oh... So here you will actually be able to see the time difference between the two skips, because Lexi started her skip earlier. However, if she is going to finish it earlier is still left to be seen. Lexi's skip is essentially over as she waits to plummet down to the earth. Katie's skip is hopefully over, but we will see if she is able to make it herself. And she does make it over the invisible wall and lands OBT with a time of 1:09. Very, very fast. Fast Final Rush, for reference, used to get times in runs of like about 106 to maybe 109 as well. And Lexi getting a time much more indicative of regular Final Rush skip, 121. It will come down to Shadow 2, who is a very, very temperamental boss, as is most of the things in this game, as sometimes he can just decide that you're not going to bounce off of him the correct way, and you lose a bunch of time and or die. So Katie going for the homing attack strat, 1, 2, 3, gets her first 3 hits, goes for hit 4, and Shadow is gone. Time for Katie, and time for Lexi is coming up on the final hit of Shadow. Hit number 4, and time. Very close race from 2 very good runners. Very, very well done from both of you.
Yay.
Sonic, I did it.
Congratulations on a great race.
Yeah, that was good.
That was an interesting race, yeah, for sure. But it was fun. It was fun.
Sonic!
Yeah, unfortunately, your Dr. Pepper monster ended up being Green Forest, and Lexi's ended
Yeah,
up
my
being
Dr.
Pyramid
Pepper-
Cave.
Yeah, the doctor called. I have too much Dr. Pepper in my system. I need to get that figured out.
Good games to both of you.
How did your run go, Lexi? Or what did you think of it?
It was okay. I don't have my timer up, so I don't know what the IGT was, but it was fine. The worst
Yeah.
split was Pyramid Cave by far.
Yeah. That was like the only part of my run that I was happy with. But it is what it is. Slip and slide on the banana peel. It happens. Do you have anything to say, Alice?
Thanks for the great race, and thanks for everyone in chat supporting us as well. Especially huge shout out to GDQ and Frost Fatale, or Flame Fatales, excuse me, Frame Fatales, excuse me, for allowing us to showcase our wonderful speed game on their platform. Of course, shout out to the Sonic Adventure era speedrun community and their events team as well for continuing to provide wonderful support for this game, as well as all of the SA2 runners and other adjacent community members who joined and participated in chat and sent some lovely donations. And of course, thank you for Tucabass for hosting the run.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the lovely race. It was such a great way to close off such an amazing Sonic block. It was really amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone who has been donating. I've got a couple more donations I would like to read. I have Brandino with $25 saying, shout out to these super SA2 gamers. I love this community. And we have Anthony Jumelis, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, with $25 saying, another excellent day of Frost Fatales has made for boundless entertainment. Thank you to the runners, staff, and volunteers for making it all happen. P.S. Shout out to my homie, Big the Cat. Stay easy, Big King. Thank you all so much for those donations. Well, thank you everyone for joining today, but remember, the fun continues tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you tune in for some amazing runs such as Superliminal, Okami, and Go Fit. Remember, we got that Okami incentive, so yeah, we might even pet a dog. It's gonna be amazing. You wanna make sure you're here tomorrow. This is my last participation in Frost Fatales 2023, so thank you very much for having me. You have all been so kind. We will now go into a short break, but stick around because we will be rating a wonderful speedrunner right after it. That's it for me. Thank you all again, and have a good night.